One of the most popular Pokemon of all time is Eevee, and it's not just because of its cute looks, it's also because of the Eeveelutions that come from it. And this has been one of the big topics for so many years is, when are we going to get a new Eeveelution? What are the new Eeveelutions that are even possible? And how many more could we potentially get? Well, I'm Rob, and I'm here with the Game House, and we're going to be answering your question today on when we believe that the next Eeveelution could be making an appearance. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so that you aren't missing out on any of our daily Pokemon content or any of our sports or esports content if that fits your fancy as well. We're also going to ask in the comments section below to let us know which typing you think is going to have the next Eeveelution. Is it going to be a new one completely? Is there even a chance that they go back and try to make another one based on all of the different typings that we already have? We don't think that that's a super likely option, but hey, if you guys are feeling it, you need to let us know. Now let's stop wasting time and start looking at what we believe will be the next Eeveelution, or when it'll be coming, and we're going to be starting that with the history of Eevee and the Eeveelutions. And the first ones obviously came in Generation 1, where Eevee had the original 3 evolutions in Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. It made a lot of sense back then for them to have these Pokemon, and it was always a little surprised that Leafeon wasn't in there. Instead, they decided to go with electric typing with the fire and the water typing. Maybe that was just to switch things up, or they just needed another electric Pokemon. Either way, that's what we got in Gen 1. Then, literally just a few years later, we got Espeon and Umbreon in Generation 2, and this was to go along with the new Dark typing, something that we have seen every time that they've added a new typing. Hint, hint. We'll discuss Sylveon here in a second. Then in Gen 4, we got Glaceon and Leafeon with new ways to evolve, right? You would stand next to these stones and level them up, and eventually they just ended up getting Ice and Leaf Stones, which, you know, you were made it just a little bit easier because not every single game was going to have that kind of gimmick evolution or area to do that, especially, you know, in different places that didn't have the snow as readily available. Lastly, as discussed before, we had Sylveon, who was released as the new fairy typing that was introduced in Generation 6 with Pokemon X and Y. The thing is that this was all the way back in October of 2013, and many people, myself included, believed that there was a chance that maybe we would start getting a new Eeveelution every other generation. Sometimes we'd get 1, sometimes we get 2, maybe we get 3. As you can see, you know, it started off with 3, then we got 2, and then 1 to bring us out to, you know, the original 8 that we have gotten so far, if you don't count Eevee being the 9th type. And we really did believe that this was going to happen, but instead, it's been over a decade, and we really have not heard very much about a new one coming out in any of the new games or anything else. But that did change once the Terra leaks came out, which, if you don't know what that is, about a terabyte of information about Pokemon kind of gave us a glimpse into the process of the Pokemon Company, along with numerous games and ideas that they had moving forward. There were prototype games that got very far into development but never made it. There were different Pokemon that were discussed for basically every single generation, and we were given such an interesting look into the back of what this company does. Pokemon is very secretive. Nintendo is very secretive. So while it wasn't great, obviously, that a lot of this information got leaked without them maybe, you know, deciding to give it to us, it was interesting to get a different look at Pokemon and what could have been. There have been rumors that maybe they stopped the idea of doing a Pokemon Presents because of these leaks. I would be a little bit surprised, as it seems like Nintendo and Pokemon kind of move forward basically no matter what, but it was, regardless, it was good for us to get a look at this, if that's, you know, something that excites you, or if these leaks were of interest to you. But the one major leak that has a lot to do with this topic today is that there was a flying type Eeveelution that was cut for Sun and Moon. So to be clear, we would have gotten back-to-back new Eeveelutions in generations for the first time since 1 and 2, generations 1 and 2, and we got them potentially in 6 and 7. But I'm going to read real quickly what was shown in these Terra leaks, and this should be coming up on your screen in front of you, but basically this was the mindset of the Pokemon Company that we saw in these Terra leaks for why they didn't release it. After being told that the design was similar to a design created by a fan, it was decided that the design costs would be very high. If there is a game where Flying Eevee is the main character, or if there is a high value in the game, then it is not worth the high cost. We could make that decision, but that is not the case at the moment. We will put it on hold until we can determine the importance of the new Pokemon. So, look, it's very obvious with this that they are thinking about new Eeveelutions and that they had one available and ready to roll just a few generations ago. And unfortunately, we've gone now with 3 straight mainline games that we have not gotten a new one. And it's interesting that this was pushed off just because a fan design was too similar. It's not like this fan has design rights necessarily to what Pokemon could do with it. I'm sure they could have changed things up just a little bit to make it different. I don't know. It's very surprising that this is the reason why they pushed it off, but it's worth noting that not only are they actively working on Eeveelutions, but they already have a prototype one in the back, in the background that they have worked on before, that we could potentially see in the future. So with all of that, with all this background, let's discuss when we actually believe that the next Eeveelution could be coming out. It feels like a certainty that something big is coming. Pokemon has taken a full year plus off of releasing any content for mainline games until we get Pokemon Legends ZA, which we don't even know when that's coming out in 2025. That could be in the middle of the year, beginning, end. Obviously, I know I just gave you all 3 options sometime in 2025. We would be surprised if it were to come out before Pokemon Day 2025. But that being said, there is reason to feel hopeful that something big, including with Eevee, could be coming out. And the reason is that it feels like they are building up to this 30th anniversary. And with this speculation, and the reason why we are bringing that out, because this is truly just speculation, the 25th anniversary, they revealed a lot. They revealed the Diamond and Pearl remakes, the new Pokemon Snap, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. 3 major games, if you don't count Diamond and Pearl being separate, that a lot of people were really excited about. Diamond and Pearl is beloved by a lot of people. Getting a remake of it made a lot of sense. Pokemon Snap, another game that people really love back from the Nintendo 64 days. Getting a new one of those for the Nintendo Switch made a lot of sense and was very exciting. And then we got our first look at a brand new type of game in Pokemon Legends Arceus that was, I think, such a step in the right direction for Pokemon. Even if people had issues with bugs and all these other things, it still was a very good new take on Pokemon by the Pokemon Company. We also know from these leaks that they are hard at work with Generation 10, and we don't know the specifics of it because the leaker refused to give out any information on Legends ZA or Generation 10. They were only going to give us information on things that had already released. But there's a good chance that we're going to be finding out more about that soon. You can check out a video that we did, asking the question, when's the next Pokemon Presents coming out? Something for that may pop up on the screen here, but you should give that a look because we think that the next one could be coming in the next couple weeks, or we may be having to wait until Pokemon Day 2025. There's a lot of different theories around that one, so you'll have to check out that video if you want a more in-depth discussion on it. But we believe that they will announce some more information, some very big information getting us ready for that 30th anniversary. And, well, we're done wasting time here. We believe that they will announce a new Eeveelution with Legend ZA. Which type is up in the air, but we're thinking Steel or Poison could make sense. Just because of the fact that, you know, they like to do the weaknesses and the different super effective moves and whatnot against each other based on what we've seen with the, you know, Psychic and Dark typing coming out together with the Leaf and the Ice, or the Grass and the Ice, you know, typing coming out together as well. But we believe that Dragon is going to be the next one. Not only is this going to be really exciting, obviously Sylveon would be super effective with it, and that's our main thinking behind this, is that we're going back to Kalos. That's the last time that we got a new Eeveelution, and Sylveon, the fairy Pokemon, that's, you know, the one that's the biggest counter, essentially to Dragon Pokemon, right? That's when it came out, so it would make a ton of sense for them to be coming out with a Dragon Pokemon. And yes, we understand that it is true that there are only 8 Eeveelutions so far, so there's a 1 in 10 chance of getting it right. And it's also understood that 2025 is the 29th anniversary, not the 30th, but that is only assuming that you thought that the rest of this when is the next Eeveelution video was over. After a lot of thought, it is also our belief that for the 30th anniversary and Generation 10, we believe that they're going to be announcing 2 more Eeveelutions to celebrate and bring things back into a really exciting time. Not only would we be getting a new game, but everybody loves Eevee. It's one of the most popular Pokemon, and all of its Eeveelutions are beloved. Everybody has a favorite one, right? And because of that, and I guess I shouldn't say everybody, we've done that in videos before, and, you know, people have gotten upset, but regardless, you know, when you look at what the leak says, it says that they want a game where the flying one was either the main character or there is a high value in the game, and that it would be on hold until we can determine the importance of the new Pokemon. This would be the importance, a major celebration of 30 years. And not to get people too excited, but like, wouldn't it be fun if they decided to add another type or two, something that I know a lot of people have been wanting since Generation 6 as well, over a decade ago? That's a lot more work, and they've had a lot more time to potentially bring this into the game and make those kinds of changes, as they did with Fairy, as they did with Dark typing, as they did with Steel typing, right? There's just a lot of reason to believe that this is a possibility. And to be clear, there is no evidence that there would be a new type. That has not been shown in any of the leaks, and certainly not in anything official. But, you know, you gotta go big or you gotta go home for a 30th anniversary, for a 30th birthday. So that we hope that you enjoyed this video. Please, again, make sure to like and subscribe, as it means a lot to us. It helps us out quite a bit. And, you know, let us know in the comments below if you agree with this theory, or do you think it's completely off base and there's no chance we're going to get one? It's understandable if you think getting 3 new Eeveelutions after not getting one for a decade in the next 2 years is maybe a little bit much. I would say that myself and the others at the Game House here are fairly confident that there will be a new one, either with ZA or with Generation 10, at least one. But it makes sense for them to maybe do a little bit more, especially if they've already been thinking about this and had this in the works. It's not like these Terra leaks came out and they said there won't be any new Eeveelutions ever, right? They had one ready to go, but the design just didn't work and they ended up having to scrap it. So again, let us know what you guys think about that in the comments below. But that's going to wrap it up for us on this Pokemon video for the Game House. So from our house to yours, we will catch you on the next one.